Hello everyone, this is Gail from Gail's Upstairs Studio. I hope you're all doing well. Today I am going to share with you something I have been using a lot lately that I thought you might be interested in. These are watercolor pigment sticks from Daniel Smith. They are different from Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s and the Mungio water-soluble crayons that I have because it is just watercolor pigment in a stick. From what I understand, it's the same formula that they use for like their pans, and it's just in stick form. One of their things that they like to say is it's like having a pan in a hand. And I was originally interested in these sticks because I go through a lot of greens, and these pigment sticks individually are around just under $10 on Blick. And it seemed like a pretty economical way to refill because I don't exactly know how much is in here, but it is like having like 3.5 pans full, and for $9.90, I think they were I have it right here. They were $9.46 when I bought them, and I thought that was a really economical way to replace green. So I started with purchasing a sap green and an olive green, which are two greens that I use a lot in other brands, but I don't have in Daniel Smith. I do have all of these colors in tube form that I've dried down into pans, but I don't have a sap green or an olive green. So I thought that would be a good place to start. And when I got them, I liked them so much, and the way I used them worked so well that I decided to then go ahead and order these two sets from Blick as well. Now these sets sell out fast, so you kind of have to pay attention. They do restock, and I've seen them when I first tried to buy them, they were out of stock, and then they came back in, and then they went out of stock again, and then when they came back in, I ordered them. So they're out of stock at the moment, but they should be back in, I would assume. Again, they're very good at restocking. I got these two sets, and this one is the core mixing set of 5, and it has Hansa Yellow Medium, Quinacridone Coral, Lamp Black, Cobalt Blue, Phthalo Green, and this sap green on the end is one of these individual sticks. And in the enhanced secondary color set of 5 here, this is a new set for them. There is Buff Titanium, Quinacridone Burnt Orange, Undersea Green, Moon Glow, and Carbazole Violet. Today I am going to show you just 2 ways to use these sticks that I use it most for. But another way to use them that I have seen people show on YouTube is that this is a half pan, an empty half pan. And if you measure out the length you need, if you cut this down, take the wrapper off and cut this down, it fits perfectly in your half pan, and then you have a pan of color. I might do that with at least the 2 greens at some point. Today we're going to paint irises in my sketchbook using Carbazole Violet and sap green, and I'll show you how I use them. I'm going to be drawing some irises out first in my Bauhong Academy hot pressed watercolor journal, and then I will be using some of these brushes, probably not all of these brushes, but it is a Princeton Velvet Touch 10, a Princeton Velvet Touch 8, and a Princeton Aqua Elite 4, and this Royal & Langnickel 4, but I won't be using it for the brush. On the end of a lot of, if not all, I'm not sure, of the Royal & Langnickel brushes, they have this point here They don't round at the end, they have this point, and I use that to scratch in leaf veins. So I'll be using that. And my kneaded eraser with my pencil. I'm just going to start out by quickly and lightly drawing out some irises. Now that's just a simple, quick sketch. Now I'm going to use my kneaded eraser and soften all of the lines. I can still see them, but they're a lot lighter. Okay, and now I'm going to show you one way that I use my watercolor sticks. I'm going to be using two colors today. I think I already told you. It's going to be Carbazole Violet and Sap Green. I've just sprayed a little pool of water up here in one corner for one of the colors. And down here, this is just a cover from an enamel refrigerator box, and it makes a good mixing palette. So a color up here and a color down here. And I'm taking the stick just on the end here, and I'm just going to work it into the water, and you can see that it immediately wets down very nicely, makes a nice pool of water, and then I just tap it off and lay it to the side. I'll do the same thing with Sap Green down here. Make sure I've got Sap Green, and I do. Make a nice dark puddle, and I've given them plenty of room in between the two puddles so that I can add more water and have plenty of room. Okay, and we'll start with the three flowers. And let's see. I actually think I'm going to start with the Velvet Touch size 10. You can use it as watercolor because that is what it is. Trying not to touch what I've already put down just so that it doesn't bleed in, but some of it will, and that's fine because this is just a loose, quick loose sketch here. And just like regular watercolor, you can go in with darker pigment and lay down some deeper color. This is hot press paper, so the color isn't going to travel quite as much as it would on cold press paper. Now I'm going to go back in with the end of my Royal & Lang nickel brush, and I have seen this trick done with credit card edges, paint tube edges actually, but I find this to work very well for me. And I'm just scratching in some detail on the flower. You want to make sure that your surface is really wet when you do it because it won't show up well if it's already partially dry. And what happens is, and this is with all watercolor, is that it will seep into those veins and make them a little darker. And if you put any more color on top, it'll continue to seep in so that those will be darker. And now we are going to take my Aqua Elite size 4, and I'm going to show you the second way that I use these sticks the most, and that is right off the stick. I'm going to go in and with water on the end of my brush and just activate the paint. Tap it off to make sure there's not too much water, because I want to do a fine line here. And I actually have too much pigment on it, so I have to get a little bit of it off. There we go. And I'm making my stems for my irises. And I'm going to go ahead and add that to my puddle down here, because I am going to be making a wash of more of the green. Okay, now that that is done, we're going to let that dry for a few minutes. Okay, now we're going to come back in with the petals, and we're going to go back to using the end of the stick, and I am just going to just darken a few things here. And I actually don't really need to do this on this particular one, but I just want to show you how you can use just the end of the stick. And I actually use the end of the stick more than anything else when I'm working, specifically small for me, but that doesn't mean that that's the only time to use it. Just trying to get some, too much water, trying to get some darkness up in the middle and coming down the side petal there. It's just as easy as having it in my hand and working with it that way. And I'm just defining that front iris petal a little bit because it kind of got lost in the original wash. And now I'll come down with some water and soften that edge. And just continue to work around the painting that way. There's that. And I don't think I'm going to do a ton with the reedy leaves that this has going on, but I do want to darken up, maybe add a little bit of a shadow there. I actually don't like the way this one flows, because I don't really like them to come straight up. So I'm gonna try to change it just a little bit. I don't know if it's gonna work, but yes, that's better. Give it a little bit of a curve. Let's see. At this point, I think that I'm just going to call it done for now, walk away, and at some point I might come back and add to it, but I only wanted it to just be a quick little sketch in my sketchbook anyway. So that is the Daniel Smith watercolor sticks and how I am currently using them. And if I find any new uses that I like, I will let you know. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you next time.